Yes, good afternoon. Hello, how are you doing? I hope it's been a wonderful day. I believe that I know some of us are in our different offices and you're connected to Realize Africa. When it comes to issues of sexual and gender-based violence, these are issues that are very, very important that we want to talk about to see how we can end it in our society. And this is Realize Africa SGBV. And when you hear about SGBV, it has S stands for sexual, G stands for gender, B stands for gender-based, and again V stands for violence. And you're welcome to Realize Africa SGBV Hangout online via our platform, via social media, via Facebook and via YouTube. My name is Ireti Adesida. I'm the team leader of Rhealyz Africa, and we are out there to see how we can end issues of sexual and gender-based violence, issues of harmful traditional practices in our society, and we feel that we can all come together, amplify our voices, come in, engage stakeholders, engage individuals who are working in different communities, engage government officials, engage those who are also that's in terms of groups, societies, communities to see how we can work together to end gender-based violence in our society. And I believe it's going to be a wonderful experience today. And today we'll be talking about reporting sexual abuse, what every youth must know, lessons from Oyo State. And it's something that is very important that we need to talk about because we feel that youth are the leaders and also the leaders of not just for tomorrow, we are the leaders of today. And for us to build that leadership capacity as young people, we need to see how we can become champions, advocates against sexual and gender-based violence. And I have wonderful resource persons in the house. I'm going to just still let me just introduce them. I'm still going to engage with them. We have two wonderful lawyers in the house. They are so passionate when it comes to issues of gender-based violence, and again when it comes to issues that affect our society. Let me just introduce them. Let me start with our first guest. That's Barrister Oluwaseun Folajuwon-Banjo. She is a lawyer and gender rights activist and executive director of Savingcross JusticePoint. Barrister Oluwaseun Folajuwon-Banjo, you're welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Hello, Barrister.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay.
It is a pleasure to be here this
Okay.
afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here.
Okay. Thank you. And also we have Barrister Wuraoluwa Ayodele. She's a lawyer and women rights activist. She's the founder of Women Save House. They are all based in Ibadan and doing a lot when it comes to issues of sexual and gender-based violence. So you're welcome, Barrister Wuraoluwa.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Okay.
for having us here. Thank you.
Okay, I know it's a very busy period. We had to quickly ask for permission. They are in a major conference right there in Oyo State, trying to see how we can also end sexual and gender-based violence in Oyo State and also in Nigeria. So we had to quickly excuse them out of the conference hall to talk to us. So I know the environment might not be as comfortable as we expect, but they are able to take that sacrifice to ensure that they are part of this conversation. So I'm going to get to you, but let me also talk to my co-moderator, Temilolaoluwa. Temi, how are you?
Fine, thank you, sir.
Temi, how are you?
Fine, thank you,
how
sir.
Are you? Okay, how's everything?
I'm fine. Fine,
Okay,
thank you.
okay. Yeah. So we believe that it's going to be a wonderful conversation and engagement with our stakeholders. These are women that are passionate about issues that has to do with rights of women, rights of children, rights of the girl child, and how we can make our world a better place and build safe society. Let me just start quickly with you. What's your take about today's topic? Okay. I think I'm having issues with you, with your connection. So let me just go straight because of time. Let me start with Barrister Oluwaseun. That's Folajuwon-Banjo. I want to ask, can you just share with us, because you are the founder of a major NGO that's in Oyo State, and you are the executive director of Savingcross JusticePoint. So can you share with us some of your activities related to sexual and gender-based violence and harmful traditional practices, and what are some of these success stories we want to learn from? You want to know what you are doing, because we believe that a lot of young people would like to also follow your footsteps in the great things you are doing. So please, can you just share with us what you do? I want to know more about what you're doing. I want to also look at, okay, what are some of these success stories and what are some of the challenges probably you faced along the way?
Yes, thank you. And in Ibadan here, we have Savingcross JusticePoint Foundation. Our work is that focuses on the rights of the vulnerable and the indigent here in Ibadan. And you know that when you're talking about the vulnerable, you're talking about children, you're talking about women, you're talking about even men that are financially incapacitated, and you're talking about the people that are in detention. So here, our work is centered on this category of persons to ensure that they have social and legal justice. And in doing or in rendering this service, we try our best to protect and defend the rights of this category of people. And before you can successfully say that you're protecting the rights of a person, there is also an involvement, or there is a need for you to carry out an enlightenment to people to know, for them to know that they actually have these rights. They should actually be protected. They have a law a law that protects them. So because of this reason, we carry out advocacies, we carry out public enlightenment, we go to religious centers, we work with religious leaders, we work with traditional leaders, and we also go to markets, anywhere we can find people, just so that we can enlighten them on their rights. And we do not stop at advocacy. We also offer our services, legal services, to anyone whose rights has been trampled upon. That is when the issue of sexual based and gender-based violence come into play. We are ready to step in, and by the grace of God, we have been able, because we are a foundation. Most of our resources come from us. We don't take any dime from any of our clients, or let me say survivors. We try our best to provide all their needs for them. The ones that we cannot meet, we are able to refer them to the appropriate quarters where they can get such remedy. I'm talking about if it has to do with medical remedy. Take for instance, someone has been raped and comes to us. We know, because sometimes you don't have at the beginning we didn't have the resources to provide a medical facility, but as time goes on, we're able to expand and to partner with psychologists and people who would give social support to the survivors. So we work with them to ensure that the survivors are well taken care of without them paying anything. And then we have been able to secure the confidence of the members of the public. When they come to us, they know this is a safe space where they can come to. We also refer them to safe houses. Some of them need to just get away from the perpetrators who is abusing them constantly. We try our best to work with safe houses, and that's why I have my wonderful partner here with me who runs a safe house for women, and we work together to keep the identity of these victims and to also ensure that they are protected even while their case is ongoing. And so, to talk about our success stories, we've had some cases that we have had to take to court. We follow them up from the police station up to the court level, and at the court we either give our services to protect them, to defend them in court, or we monitor the cases to ensure that they were properly and diligently prosecuted. And God has been helping us so far. So let me just stop here. Thank you.
Okay. I was going to ask you about the challenges, but before then, let me ask Barrister Wuraoluwa. Probably should also give us an overview of what she's doing, what the organization is, because I can see that you are doing a great work, and that's the passion, and that is why we are having you here, despite your tight schedule, even in a conference that is still going on, and you're able to still connect with us. So can we just have what do you do, and what are some of your success stories? Okay, Barrister Ruala.
Very much for the question and for having us. Can you hear me, please?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. So our work at Women's Safe House, which I preside over, work against SGBV and rehabilitation. For our preventive work, we believe that it is not enough to just keep rehabilitating all victims or now survivors of sexual and gender-based violence. It is important that we educate local communities everywhere around us on what sexual and gender-based violence is about. And in
Yes.
doing this, we hold community dialogue sessions with religious bodies, with community leaders, with stakeholders in communities, with community members, and whoever it is that has any ear to hear, to first understand what SGBV is and how it can be prevented. And most importantly, to ensure that perpetrators in our local communities do not get away and are brought to justice. We believe that this
Yes.
is really important if we really need to crush SGBV in our local communities. That's one.
Mm.
Still on the issue of prevention, we understand that a lot of SGBV practices are deeply rooted in culture and culture and religion, and that's why it looks
Yes.
more like we focus on religious and cultural circles to ensure that we curb violence as much as possible. On the issue of
Mm.
rehabilitation, we focus on rehabilitation because we believe that we still do not have a proper support system for victims/survivors of sexual and gender-based violence in our local communities, and we want to ensure that we provide a structure where survivors can rely on, can go to, when they have suffered any of these forms of violence. And so
Yes.
for rehabilitation, we focus on providing shelter for them, and that's why we run a temporary shelter where we provide this temporary space where people who have suffered from SGBV can come to for a period of time, and they can recuperate
Mm.
before they go on with their normal lives. We provide legal services also. That's another thing. And legal services starts from just legal advice to police station attendance to taking a matter to court in whatever way it is that we can provide legal
Yeah.
assistance. We are always there. And then three, we provide healthcare. We understand that a lot of survivors of SGBV do not either have money to go to a hospital or see a
Mm.
doctor, or even are just afraid or ashamed, to even talk to anybody about what they've been through. And so we partner with other health organizations. We have also provide, our own health services, for people who have gone through that. And then lastly, we provide economic sustenance because we focus on women and children, specifically in my organization. We believe that women and girls, I'm sorry for that, women and girls, we believe that a lot of them are not financially independent, and that is even why they suffer SGBV in the first place for some of them. And so we know that empowering them is also another way of ensuring that they come out of SGBV. We try to be as holistic in our approach as possible to ensure
Okay.
that everybody
Okay.
is covered and all the issues, social issues, for instance, are covered, and people are able to get on with their regular lives. So basically, that's like a summary of what we do. We focus on six major parts of um, sexual and gender-based violence, and this includes rape, intimate partner violence, domestic violence, sex trafficking, female genital mutilation, and child marriage. So I'll just stop there for now.
Okay.
That's a summary of what we do at Women's House. Thank you.
Okay, 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 okay. So, okay. Let before since you are still with that's your device. Let me just quickly take you on that, by Sawurala. So, what are some of the challenges? Because there's nothing that we do that we don't experience challenges. Because if we are encouraging young people to become advocates of ending sexual and gender-based violence, and we don't tell them its challenges, when they get to the middle of the road and when they meet, probably face some of these challenges, they might run away. So, what are some of these challenges? What are some of the lessons that probably you have learned over the years that you feel that other people that want to go into something like this will all be able to learn from you?
Okay, thank you very much. So first, I'll start with the poor implementation of the law. I'm saying this because,
Okay.
well, as lawyers, it's something that we always look at. The fact that the law says this, but in reality, in the implementation of that particular provision is really low. So
Yes,
the law
yes.
says, okay, if somebody rapes somebody, this is what they should do. But when you get to the police station, when you make a report, I mean, it doesn't really go down as such. Same with the issue of domestic violence and so many other forms of violence, which I already earlier mentioned.
Yes.
So that is one of the major challenges, and we keep striving. We keep working really hard to ensure that implementation is as key as the provision itself, of the law. That's one. Two is the fact that a lot of people in local communities, and I don't even mean villages, I mean even in our towns, in our cities, still do not believe that a woman can be raped. A lot of people still say that, oh, if it's a child, I can still understand, but if it's a grown woman, I don't see how a grown woman can be raped. It was probably her fault. Probably she went there, she went to the place late in the night,
Yes.
or she went to the house. She probably wanted it, and having to educate people on this issue is really, really difficult, because how do you begin to correct the minds of somebody who has believed that a woman cannot be raped for so many years? So that's another major challenge. Having the buy-in of stakeholders in the community is also another really, really difficult part of this work. And that part that is challenging. And the buy-in I mean now is buy-in of stakeholders, buy-in of religious leaders. I mean, if a pastor, for instance, in the church does not believe in domestic violence, he believes that, oh, if you beat a woman in my church, well, it's fine, the woman should still go and beg. How do we begin to correct the minds of people, around this? Same with traditional leaders. So, if a traditional leader does not believe in domestic violence, does not believe that rape is a crime, does not believe that female genital mutilation is female genital mutilation and not female circumcision, it's a problem, and it's a challenge that we always have to face. We always ensure that people around believe these victims or believe the survivors. It is only in that belief that survivors can be bold enough to say, oh yes, I want to make a report. And then sometimes the survivor comes and says, oh, I want to make a report. And then 2 minutes later, they say, oh, I'm no longer interested, because of the stigma, because of the shame, because of all the challenges that come along with it. And that could be discouraging for we ourselves, who work on SGBV issues. And so these are the few challenges. Another challenge is funding, and that's just the truth. There are more issues that need attention than resources that are available to handle and cater for them. If you need to make a report to the police station, for instance, now this is the fact, you have to pay some money. It's not free. If you need to take somebody to the hospital or treat the person, it's not free. If you need to do, even just to be on the phone to ensure that that person comes out of that maybe area of abuse or whatever it is that the person is at that time, is not free. A lot of survivors are afraid to leave the area of abuse. People keep saying, oh, why didn't a woman, for instance, who is facing domestic violence leave? She cannot leave because she has no money to leave, and she has nowhere to go to. We have families also who are really, really unsupportive, who refuse to be good support systems for people who are facing abuse. And all of this all comes together into one big challenge, which is not having the right support really at different points in time. That is not to say that we don't get support, but I'm just highlighting a few of the challenges that we face. And I believe all of these challenges are not unsurmountable. They are surmountable, and that's why we keep working on them to ensure that we surmount them and we eventually crush SGBV, which is what our aim and goal is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister Wuraoluwa Ayodele. It shows that you're doing a lot, and we really appreciate that resilience, because sometimes when you don't have that resilience, it might be very difficult for you to carry on. So let me also quickly ask Barrister Oluwaseun Folajuwon-Banjo. I know you might also have probably related, challenges. So I want to ask you probably quickly, probably let us know some of these challenges that that you have faced, that probably it got to a point you were even thinking of giving up and say, okay, well, what's my own business? So for those of us who are in the NGO space, sometimes you get to a point you just look at, why am I even fighting for these people? There are all plenty. So what is your own view? What are some of these challenges, and how were you able to overcome
it? Well, a lot of these challenges my partner here has mentioned, but I would like to mention some striking ones. For instance, let me streamline it first to the case of rape. One of the salient challenges that we face is the issue of bureaucracies, you know, sometimes you understand that when there is a rape, there are some places or there are some steps that you should take. For instance, you must report a rape case, you let the law enforcement get wind of it to make a report. When you do that, then they refer you to a medical facility so that all the medical tests can be carried out. Now, it's a challenge because sometimes when the victim visits the police station who wants to also, refer them to the hospital for the next step, the hospital is telling them to also provide certain amount of money for them to carry out the tests and do other things that are important. We realize that most of the people who are victims of rape, most of the people who are victims of rape are indigents. They can't even take care of, they can't say where the next meal is coming from. Some of them are young persons who don't have any means of sustenance. Some of them are, children. Some of them, they are babies to market women. So when you go to the police station, the officer wants you to motivate him or her. That is not to say that we don't have some officers who are actually doing their work. I had the opportunity of meeting someone, a DPO in one of the station divisions in Ibadan here, and she mentioned how she carries out her duties as a DPO over cases of rape and defilement, and I was blown away. But that's just a number out of so many other persons who are the reason why they are not pursuing or taking seriously, for lack of better words, or let me say diligent about what to do about the cases or the complaints of rape. Most of them hide behind the issue of finance, and you really can't blame them because some of them who carry out what they're supposed to do it from their own personal purses and without any reimbursement from any quarter. So it's a challenge because by the time they get to the hospital is also requesting for some amount of money, and then our clients come back crying to us that, oh, this is happening, that is happening. We step in if we can, and when we understand that there is a law that says that the government should take care of all the immediate medical support that a victim or a survivor need. We have it is provided for in our Violence Against Women Law 2016 Oyo State, but it is not active. It is not active because they too have their own reasons, and they are going to adduce these reasons for being the reason behind them not going all out to do what they're supposed to do. So that's a challenge on its own. It's a challenge on its own, and it's begging for government to, stand to the occasion to see that there is an actualization and implementation of that provision that's got to do with the support and provisions for victims. That's a challenge, and we pray that it's going to come to an end soon. And another one that I'm going to also talk about is streamlining it to the issue of domestic violence. Many of the women that we work to protect don't want to speak out when it comes to violence. Reasons, they have many reasons, and one of them is that they feel that they would not be believed. They also feel that it's happening in other families. Why should they be the one that will speak out? And some who even want to speak out don't have support. They don't have strong social support from families, from friends, from church members, from pastors, from people that they call their allies. So when they don't have support,
Oh, okay. I think we lost that connection. We hope that we'll be able to have them again. Okay. Okay. Temi, I think let's. Hello, Temi.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So while we're trying to get back to Barrister Wuraoluwa, okay, I think she's still trying. Okay. While we try to.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So sorry about that.
Yeah,
So
no
sorry
problem.
about that. That was the network. So
Yes.
as I was saying, as an NGO, if you did your best to convince a victim, can I say victim of domestic violence now, and the person is really, oh yes, I want to go all out, to fight for my rights and all that, but it gets to a point when they started hearing from their family members, from the people who they expect to support them in that decision, and that support is not coming from there, they withdraw. And then you go all about calling them they have disappeared. So I want to encourage young persons who want to take up this assiduous task of fighting for the rights of women and girls to know, to have it at the back of their minds that yes, there are challenges out there, but they are surmountable. Like she said, they are surmountable, and there are not enough reasons to back down to say they're not going to go all about, doing this business, because there is more. I tell you a particular instance of an intervention that we sought to do, of a woman who we heard that was being abused, because the law also went ahead to say that, it doesn't have to be that a victim has to come out and say I'm being abused. Even if you as a concerned person hears that such an abuse is going on, you can, rise to the occasion to defend the woman. And so we did that, and then we got to the police station, because I wouldn't know what happened at the police station, whether she was intimidated or something, but she changed her story and said that she didn't want any intervention. Herself and her husband are okay, and we could see marks all over her body. We could see marks. We could see how, where and all the part that she had been inflicted with, inflicted upon. But because I wouldn't know what happened behind us, but she had to come up to say, oh, everything was fine. We invited her again to another session to be sure that the decision was independent. On that occasion, she came. Both of them they wore the same attire so that they can convince the public that they're okay. But that's just one story out of many. We still have some people who know that our women, they know now that they should not, if they keep quiet, it is going to be to their own detriment. So I believe that this person who abused opportunity is still going to go through the same abuse again, because perpetrators don't just stop. They don't just stop inflicting. Abusers don't just stop like that. I'm sure the man is still going to abuse her, and by the time she needs help, she might not be able to get. So I want to encourage all young persons out there that the fight is enormous, and it needs as many possible as many supporters, defenders, and fighters as possible. They should rise. They should not be discouraged by the challenges, because, like I said, they are surmountable. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Barrister Oluwaseun, and also we had also from Barrister Wuraoluwa. If you are just joining us, we are still watching Reporting Sexual Abuse: What Every Youth Must Know, lessons from Oyo State. And we also, this is Rhealyz Africa, SGBV Hangout. And we also want to appreciate all those who are partners, those who are also been supporting initiatives like this, because without them, we are also not going to be having issues of trying to address gender-based violence in our society. I want to appreciate Education as a Vaccine. They have also been a very wonderful partner when it comes to providing education and right support, when it comes to SGBV and also SRHR, and also UNFPA Nigeria to have been a big part of each unit, and why we keep on encouraging them. I'm going to call on Temilolaoluwa now. Temilolaoluwa, I always Temi, she's going to ask, she's our team's advocate. She's one of our media advocates, because what we're also trying to do in Rhealyz Africa is to build young girls, young people who are interested in media work and how they can use their voice, as they usually say, how they can sorosoke to end sexual and gender-based violence. So I'm going to hand over to her to ask even our resource person, because it's always good that we hear from them. Let's hear from the youth, and let's see what their own perspective is all about. So I believe that it's going to be a wonderful time. So Temi, how are you doing? Temi. Okay. I think. Oh, sorry. Okay. So I think there's an issue with our network. Okay. So before she comes up again, let me just quickly ask this about issues of, because of time, because I want to quickly round up, because I know you need to quickly go and join the conference that is ongoing. There's a report that Oyo State has a high level of female genital mutilation. What a lot of people call female circumcision. So I want to ask, let me start from the Barrister Wuraoluwa. So what's your take? What do you think? We're looking at female circumcision, which people know, but the real word is female genital mutilation, which is also part of the harmful traditional practices. So what do you think CXOs, legal practitioners, can do to end this barbaric act? I don't know whether you have handled cases like that, probably within your home, in terms of issues of female genital mutilation. So what's your take? How do you think we can end it? And is it that true that we have that case in Oyo State? Because sometimes it's always good that we also get the facts straight. Okay, I think there's a delay.
Okay,
Hello?
thank you very much for, yes.
Okay.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, on the issue of female genital mutilation, first I want to start by saying that there is nothing like female circumcision. Nothing like female circumcision. It is female genital mutilation because it is a mutilation to whoever it is that suffers it, and female cutting. On the issue of female genital mutilation, what CSOs or CBOs, or NGOs, whatever it is now, can do to help, curb this. First, advocacy. You never go wrong with advocacy. Everybody must be aware on the issue of what female genital mutilation is, and that's why I started by saying that it is female genital mutilation, not female circumcision. People need to understand that a woman cannot be circumcised. That's the first thing. And it is impossible for us, to keep doing advocacy, just online advocacy. And online advocacy is great, but the people who are cutting other people are not online. The cutters, the local cutters, they are working in local communities where they do not go online. They are not on WhatsApp, they are not on Facebook, they are not on any social media platform. So it is important that we keep educating those people in those local communities on that issue. Another thing is, still on the issue of education, we need to go to schools. Children need to know that if they are about to circumcise you, it is bad, it is wrong. In the issue of circumcision, only a boy can be circumcised, a girl cannot be circumcised. Another issue also is the provision of the law. Fine, we have laws now that say that females genital mutilation is a crime. We have the Violence Against Women law of 2016. We're currently seeing if we could also have the Violence Against Persons Prohibition law, of Oyo State too. We also have the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act of 2015. We have all of those laws, but how has the implementation process been? The implementation process has been low. I keep saying it because it's just the truth. There's really no way around it. The implementation process is low. How many people have been arrested, for instance, for female genital mutilation? I mean, since the law came out. If we really go and look at the statistics, from gather data from different places, I'm very sure that the number will be really, really low. And yet we say that the number of victims of FGM is increasing. So the number of victims cannot be increasing, and the number of perpetrators who are being prosecuted is still low. Until we figure this out, until we make sure that there is a balance, between the two, we'll just keep, screaming on social media, we'll just keep screaming, and then there will not be any real change. For there to be positive change, everybody must be an active participant in this struggle. It's not just a fight for one person or for two people. Everybody must be involved. For those who think that this is a problem for the government, I don't know what to say to that. Issues of female genital mutilation, issues of SGBV in general is not a government problem alone. It concerns every single person. Most people would rather keep quiet because their children have not been circumcised, in quotes, or mutilated, or they've not suffered rape, they've not suffered any form of SGBV, so it's not their business until they actually know somebody that has suffered it. I keep saying that everybody must be an active participant, and that is what CSOs and CBOs and other organizations, interested individuals in communities should do. Everybody should keep their ears to the ground. You hear that there's a female cutter somewhere, please report that person to the police. Report that person. Let us take it up. Report to the nearest CSO, who is ready to take it up at that particular point in time. Let that person be prosecuted. Until we do that, we may not be able to tackle the issue of female genital mutilation or female cutting in our local communities. On the issue of whether it is on the rise, I believe that it's on the rise, and this is because we have very low data collection on issues of FGM, on issues of violence generally. Why? Because it's always underreported. The few people who report are the people that we hear about, and even most of those cases still go under get to be swept under the carpet. So it is important that whenever we hear one matter, let us amplify it. Let us ensure that the perpetrator is brought to justice. If people are not punished for their crimes, the crime will never end, and the struggle to crush SGBV will never also end. So that is from my own end what I think everybody should do, both CSOs, CBOs, and all interested individuals. As far as I'm concerned, everybody is an interested party. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Let me quickly, I don't know if Barrister Wuraoluwa has anything to say about that, because we also believe that the reason why we're also trying to put this on social media is that some of these, we have a lot of young people who are connected with some of these our mamas, and that is the essence of social media, is to try to see how we can develop, get more champions, more individuals who can go into the communities. But before you can even go to the communities, you have to understand, as we said, that there's nothing like female circumcision. It's all about female genital mutilation. There's there's a no to female circumcision, and that's the reality. And it has no value. It has no medical value. It has no health value. We have lost a lot of lives. A lot of girls are bleeding to death. They are bled to death. A lot of their girls are infected because of female genital mutilation. So I don't know if Barrister Wuraoluwa has that before I call on Temi to come in.
Barrister Oluwaseun.
Sorry, Barrister Oluwaseun. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, so in addition to what has been said, I'd just like to make a little or a few inputs. The first of which is that, yes, talking about the statistics or the rise in female genital mutilation, Oyo State cases are rising every day, but it's still coming behind the kitty. And it's so sad that it is prevalent in the Yoruba speaking states. You understand, statistics have shown that it is more prevalent in the southwest. Now, you would agree with me that those that have been mutilated, or the mutilation is done on girls from ages, let's say, a day to 5 years. So most times when it is done, you are not aware. You are not aware, fully aware. You have not really mature to say no. I don't want. So that is why young persons and every CSO, CBOs must first of all sit down to identify the stakeholders, the people who are concerned with this act. When we are able to identify who are the people concerned, so we will be able now to prefer solutions that are accurate. So if we are able to highlight, okay, who are the people concerned? Number one, we have mothers, we have mother-in-laws, we have traditional leaders, we have fathers who are sometimes indifferent. Oh, if my mom says it's okay, it is okay. If my wife's mother says it's okay, it's okay. So we're going to target people that have decisions to make when it comes to mutilating girls or not. So we need to sit down and see who are the people that are concerned. So that would now take us to, if we need to go to local communities, to go to health centers, go to talk to women that are pregnant even before they had their children. Talk to young persons who are going to get married. So talk to people that you know that are the ones that have major role to take when it comes to taking decision on mutilating children, girls or not. So when we are able to identify them, then we'll be able to strategically know how to channel our advocacies. So when we're able to do that, we'll be able to prefer the needed and the necessary solution to and a permanent solution to FGM. And I also want us to know that sometimes it is okay to say let us implement the law, but can we also look at the angle of shifting mentalities? Let's engage people, let's talk to them. Why are you mutilating girls? Why are you mutilating them? They tell you, oh, because so that they don't get promiscuous, so that they don't do. Then you now canvas a stronger argument to why they need not do it. That is why you will change the mindset of people. Because it is okay, you can say you want to arrest as many people as possible, take them, jail them. What about the young ones that are coming up that don't still know the reasons why they should not do it? So in addition to the law scaring people away, let us see what we can do, how we can bring up strong arguments to convince people and to cause a behavioral change in people that will make them agree that, oh, female genital mutilation is bad. We have arguments such as, you have mentioned them, death, bleedings. Some people are not even able to bring forth their children by themselves because of, the way they have sewn off that part. You understand? Some people, their homes are suffering a lot now because the women, when they see the husband coming, they take the other route because they are afraid of sex and all that, and that's because of the pain that this mutilation caused them. So when we come up with this kind of arguments, we'll be able to reduce the impact of and the participation of as many persons as possible in the acts of mutilation. So that's the angle I want us to look at. Let us identify those that are concerned, and then let us be able to cause a shift in their thinking. And then from there, we can, and anyone who now insists to still go ahead with it, then we can take it up under the law.
Okay, thank you. So let me quickly bring in Temi into that's the show. While I will round up with the question at the aspect of reporting. How do we report? So
now, let me say here in Oyo State here that we have many responders.
Okay.
Some of us, the CSOs, we are known as the first responders. Before a victim goes to a government or someone or the ministry or the police station, the victim knows that, there is an NGO that I've heard about that can help me to fight this fight. So NGOs, CBOs, CSOs, we are all first responders. And so when there is a case of rape or abuse and it is reported to us, it is very important that we know the steps that we must guide these people to take, which first of all is, we must ensure that we enlighten them that if it is a case of rape. Now let me tell us that there are different cases under sexual and gender-based violence. There are many angles to it. So if we are talking about the issue of rape now, you know that we need to get the police involved, and then when you get the police involved, you need to ensure that the police take the victim to the hospital as fast as possible. And I want to also enlighten the public now that when there is a rape, please do not take a shower. I know it's a disgusting act. It's something that you feel that you just want to quickly wash off to get your sanity, to make yourself feel clean and all that. But if you must nab the perpetrators, you must not take a bath. You must go like that so that the evidence is preserved. And then it helps us. Even if you don't want to take it up, legally eventually, at least it is there. In 20 years, it is preserved. You can still take it up. There is no limitation to criminal acts. So as long as the evidence is preserved. And though when it comes to rape, I think we have 6 months lapses like that to it. But I'll still look at the law again. Now, when it comes to domestic violence and other SGBV, please, when you report to CSO, the NGOs and the CBOs, ensure that they also take it up legally. They take it to the police station. The law provides that the police has a right to follow you up even to your house to go and pack some of your things. In case you're afraid of going there alone, you want to ensure that, because if you go there alone, the perpetrator can see you again, sees you and beats you up again. So the police can follow you up, take a few of your things, then they can check the perpetrator up on the case and prosecute him. So what I'm advising now is that when we receive a complaint, let us identify the course of action. The first of which, if you identify whether this is a case of rape, this is a case of defilement, this is a case of talk about sexual harassment, assault, this is a case of domestic violence. When you're able to identify the cases, then you know what is the next thing to do. The next thing to do, if it's a case of rape, is to report at the police station, and then for the medical steps to be taken. And I must also sound that we need to inform the Ministry of Women Affairs with the Oyo State, because the Ministry of Women Affairs are trying their best. They have formed a group, which is the Rapid Response Team of Oyo State. This comprises of all stakeholders that you need to take care of that issue. So we have the Child Protection Network, we have all other stakeholders involved in the Rapid Response Team unit, So all of them, they will know how to say, okay, this involves the child, let the Child Protection Network come in, and then the Child Protection Network come in, they take care of the needs of the child. If it is a case of shelter, under this Rapid Response Team, we have most of the shelter homes in Oyo State. So if you need to take up a child and hide the child, they know where to put the child so that the child is protected against, the perpetrators, knowing how to influence such a child from, or such guardian from pursuing the case in court. They will protect the identity of the child. They will keep them in a safe space until justice is served. So it is important that we have knowledge, substantial knowledge of these steps, so that we'll be able to deliver accurate service when it comes to responding to the case of sexual and gender-based violence. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Barrister Oluwaseun. I think it looks as if Temi has issues with connecting. Let me also go to Barrister Wuraoluwa. Let me ask this question about, because you mentioned, I also want another that's the clarity about issue of rape. Barrister Oluwaseun talked about you should not take your bath. Are you to go to the are you supposed to go to the hospital, or you go to the police station when there's a rape case? But now we have agreed that you are not supposed to shower, you are not supposed to clean up. Make sure you go with the evidence. Is it to the police station or to the hospital? So what's the process like?
Okay, thank you for that question. So just to clarify, you first have to go to the hospital. It's really important.
Okay.
I know this is really difficult because it's easier, for people who have not gone through rape to say, oh, just go to the hospital. But when somebody has been raped, the person is experiencing 1 million emotions at the same time. The person is ashamed, the person is disgusted, the person is frustrated, is afraid, is angry, everything, all the emotions are all mixed up at that particular point in time. It is important that that person goes first to the hospital, do a proper medical check, get whatever evidence it is that the hospital can extract. That is the semen of the man in the case of a man raping a woman, and whatever it is. Make sure that that is preserved. A rape test kit will be used, to ensure that evidence is preserved at that particular point in time. And then if the person has gotten whatever form of transfer of diseases, of STIs, or whatever it is, at that particular point in time, or maybe this person has been is going to be pregnant or something, all of that is we're able to prevent, that from occurring, on that particular person when the person goes to the hospital. Ideally, the person should visit the hospital within 24 hours of the rape, being done at that particular point in time, and that's really important. Now, after that has been done, you can now go to the police station and make a report and say, oh yes, this and this happened to me, and ensure that you write a statement. It is very important that you write a statement on what has happened, even if it is somebody that you didn't know, even if it was a thief, if it was a robber, if it was just somebody on the street, or even if it was a known person. A lot of people who are raped by people that they know, family, friends, family members, religious leaders. You hear a lot of things every single day, and it's so annoying and so frustrating. It's important that that record is there. Many times, survivors of rape do not want to go back, don't want to go back to pursue the matter, even after the matter has been reported. And the truth is that even the police understands this. The police understands the stigma. The police understands the shame and everything that comes along with making a report. And so it is also important that even at that particular point in time, there is somebody that is supporting that survivor. For me, for instance, I always ask, is there a family member that is ready to stand by this person? Is there a friend that's ready to stand up by this person? Taking up a matter on rape and going to the court and throughout the whole process, it's not an easy task. I'm not talking about the law part of it now. It's not an easy task for the survivor, because you have to keep reliving the whole experience all over again. You relive the smell, you relive the taste, you relive every single thing, every single part of the experience, that has happened. So it's important that there's somebody that is ready, to stand by that person during that time. So hospital before police station. If it's possible to do the two on the same day, that would be fantastic. But hospital before police station. Medical attention first before seeking legal justice. Yes, so I'll put it that way. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, okay. Let me quickly just call in Temi immediately. I know you have to run back, so let's just quickly, Temi, please just make your question as fast as. So let's have your question, Temi, please.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes,
We can hear
We
Yes,
can
can you
hear
hear
you.
me?
you.
yes, we
We
Okay,
can
can
hear
my
hear
you.
you.
question to you is that okay, my question to you is that calling from the poll that we put out recently on a week of some time ago. So we're able to know that most teenagers,
Okay, just
don't
go straight
no
to your
longer buy
question.
the idea of silencing. Hello.
We are here. We can
We
hear
can
you.
hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Okay. We found out that most teenagers no longer buy the idea of silencing the survivors of SGBV, and majority of them are going for the perpetrator being made to bear the brunt of his or her actions. So my question to you now today is, based on your own experience, would you say that survivors of rape, especially the girls, would you say that most times tilted towards keeping quiet, or most of them are influenced by their environment, or probably coerced into keeping quiet and not speaking out? That's my question to you, Barrister Wuraola. Then to Barrister Oluwaseun, I would like to know the roles in which teenagers can play and young adults can play in facilitating justice in society.
Okay. So let me answer your question first, very, very briefly because of our time. So I would say this: a lot of young people also play active roles in ensuring that there is silence. Let me start with that. I mean, even
Okay.
when you hear a young person who has suffered some form of what sexual or gender-based violence, those people say, "Oh, you shouldn't. You're probably not supposed to talk about it, right? Or maybe it was because you were not wearing the right thing at the right time, or you didn't go
Mm,
to the right place."
yes.
And I'm not talking
Yes.
about older people. I'm talking about young people still saying the same thing. So
Mm,
why would we encourage silence if we do not encourage people to speak out? We keep saying speak out, speak out, speak out. But how can people speak out if silence is enthroned rather than you know um, actually coming out to say yes, this actually happened to me? There's something called validation, and that is very, very important. Validation is very simple. If I say I've been sexually or suffered any form of gender-based violence, all I need you to do is believe me. And if you believe me, believing me doesn't mean that you have a solution at that particular point in time. No,
mm,
it simply means
mm.
that you believe that this has happened to me, and it makes me
Including
feel
myself.
yes. I have somebody who supports um um that experience that I have had. So it is important that the young people first start with themselves. Young people, we need to start with ourselves. We need to say, yes, somebody has suffered sexual or gender based violence. I believe it. And I am going to support any form of justice that this person deserves. We need to stop
Okay.
discouraging ourselves. So, you don't have money. How are you going to go after that person? Believe the justice system. I know this is really difficult to say, but I must say, believe the justice system. Believe that the justice system would actually run its full course and bring perpetrators to book. That's one thing. Another thing is online. There's a lot of cyber harassment and cyber bullying. If somebody comes out and says, "Oh, I've suffered, I've been raped or something," you see a lot of people attacking her, attacking him, whatever gender it is now. Now we're not just talking about women, we're talking about both men and women. Why do we have underreported cases, for instance, for SGBV cases of men? Because if a young guy comes out and says, "Oh, I've been sexually abused," nobody will believe him. They will believe that he willingly went into that sexual act on his own. So it is important that we all validate one another, we all support one another, we all ensure that justice is gotten. If one person gets justice, 10 other people will be interested in following up to get justice. Those 10 other people will produce 100 people. And before we know it, the culture of silence will be broken. So we need to start with us. It begins with you and I. Thank you.
So it begins with you and I. On that note, I'm also going to make my contribution. Now, where when teenagers and youth, when they are ready, when they feel that, oh, the act of violence, the act of rape was end. We want to be a part of it, want to ensure that there is justice. They have one or two things to do which I'll just mention quickly. One of which is, first of all, there is a tremendous power in peer-to-peer group, peer-to-peer education. For instance, let us identify places where we can find youth, where you can find teenagers, where you can find young minds. Go to that place, disciple people, talk to one or two of them. Let them to go back and talk to one or two people. Let these two people also go back and talk to one or two people to enlighten them that victims of rape should not be shamed. Victims of rape should be bold to come out and say, I have been raped, and you are going to play your own role, responsibility by supporting them, believing them. Because when they get sick, it is very practical. When a victim of rape sees that she is believed, it strengthens her. She gets bold, she gets encouraged, she gets strong, she gets confidence. I mean, to take up the fight for justice. But where she's shamed, where she's not believed, it dwindles her faith. It eats up her courage, and that's where you see people keeping quiet, hiding under their shade, and saying nothing has happened. And the damage that causes is one of the damages is that it results into unwanted pregnancy. And you would agree with me that many of our young persons who are victims of rape indulge in unsafe abortion, which most cases turn to ending their lives. You would agree with me that happens. But when they're able to talk out, you don't know who you're going to speak out to, who is also going to recommend the necessary help or necessary steps that you should take. So it is until you speak out that the person can know, oh, let us go to the hospital, like Wuraoluwa has said, you need to go to the hospital. But if you don't say it out, people will not, you might not even know that that's what you should do. So where there is peer-to-peer education, like one or two persons going out there to also educate the older peers and telling them, okay, this is happening, this is gender-based violence, issue of rape, where there is rape, go to the hospital first, don't take your bath, on the 24-hour patient is reported, and when this information is circulated, it reduces the number of unsafe pregnancies that would happen. It also helps to also, give avenue to all the medical needs, medical attention that the survivor might need, which may also translate into wiping off or taking care of any potential sexually transmitted diseases. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that is there. The second one is that young persons should volunteer for non-governmental organizations. They should volunteer to be a key role player in what they are doing. If you know that what a particular organization is doing resonates with you, it's something that you would really love to be a part of, then volunteer for this activity, volunteer for this role, and see that you take a part. You also, contribute your own quota into ensuring that there is a reduction, if not even a permanent wipe off in the issues of rape. So these are the two things I'm going to advise our youth and our teenagers, for the lack of time, to do. Let us educate ourselves one after the other. If you educate one person now, let the person also educate the next person, let the person also educate the next person on what to do, and then in your education also add that there is no forgiveness when it comes to rape. There is no forgiveness. It's a crime. It's an offense against the state. It's not even an offense against the victim alone or the survivor alone. It's also an offense against the state. So the mother of the person cannot, or the relative cannot come and say, oh, we are forgiving the person. No, it is an offense against the state, and the perpetrator, if it is known, must be brought to book. So let us educate them, let them know that it has gone beyond the normal thing that we experience now. Now people are waking up to their rights, people are talking every day, and the silence of culture is broken permanently. Thank you.
Right, ma.
The culture of silence. Sorry, I said silence of culture. The culture of silence is broken permanently.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for that contribution. And also, we are happy to have you. And we hope that we are sticking to have more engagement. A lot of our teenagers are eager to engage with all our advocates and all our resource persons. So once again, we want to say thank you very much, Barrister Wuraoluwa, for joining us, and also Barrister Oluwaseun. We've been talking to Barrister Oluwaseun Folajuwon-Banjo. She's a lawyer and gender rights advocate, executive director of Savingcross JusticePoint. Thank you very much, Barrister Oluwaseun. And also want to appreciate Barrister Wuraoluwa Ayodele. She's a lawyer and women rights activist. She's also the founder of Women Save House. So we believe that we are going to still have more engagement. So let me quickly release you so that you can join the other team members. We wish you all the best, and please, we are proud of what you are doing. Don't give up. I know sometimes it's not that easy, but we know that God will continue to strengthen you and prosper what you do. So we look forward to more collaboration with Rhealyz Africa and with our young people. So please enjoy your day, enjoy your program. Please, and extend our greetings to our people also in the seminar, because we are all part of Oyo State. We believe so much that we are one Nigeria and we can move forward, and we believe our young people can be part of it. So thank you very much, and God bless you. So see you again in subsequent edition. So we appreciate you. Thank you very much. So let me quickly release you so that you can join your other friends. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. So, so it's been a wonderful time with us, and we believe that you have enjoyed this conversation. And it's very important that we look at how we can ensure justice. And to wrap up, he said to encourage victims to speak up, justice must be served. So, for us to ensure that victims speak up, we have to ensure justice. And there's also another quote also from the feedback. Thank you, Temilolaoluwa. Thank you for working behind the scene to ensure that we have some of this recap. He said, if justice is served for one, justice will be served for many others. And again, there's also another part that is very important. He said, there is no forgiveness when it comes to rape. There is no forgiveness. It's a crime, is a crime. But most of the time, we try to hide under some of these factors. Temi, I don't know you. Hello, Temi. Okay,
Hello,
okay.
sir.
I know you're trying to get. Okay, so what's your summary? What's our take home? What's your take home from what you've heard today? What's the take home from your own end?
All right. So, as Barrister Wuraoluwa and Barrister Oluwaseun had mentioned earlier, and as you've said, that there is no forgiveness for rape, since rape is a
Yeah,
crime against the state. It's also a crime against that person, either
yeah.
the girl or the boy. So there is no room for saying I'm forgiving the person. And at the same time, the same message goes to every teenager and young person out there. I know the society has kind of cases
Oh,
are
okay.
caused by what you were wearing, where you were staying at that particular time. But that is not the issue on ground. Just like you do say that a crime has been committed, and let's address the
Yes.
crime first before we start blaming the victim. Before we start saying what were you wearing? What were you doing with 4 boys? What were you doing with 5 boys?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I think we lost the connection with that. So what matters is that we should ensure that we avoid the culture of okay, you're back.
Okay, so every young person
So
should know that
so
we
you can
all have a
repeat,
role to
you probably recap that point, the aspect of the blame game.
All right. So young people should know that
Wow. Okay.
victims are not to be blamed for happening, and we should know that we all have a role to play, in ensuring that justice is being facilitated. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you very much. We believe that you're also preparing for further edition of Realizing Voices, which we're also going to unveil on this project. So watch out for those who have been following us. We want to appreciate all our viewers, all our listeners, all our viewers, and all our partners. I want to appreciate Education as a Vaccine. They have been a great partner, a great supporter to what we're doing to ensure that we end sexual and gender-based violence in our society, and also to create more awareness about sexual and reproductive health rights. I also want to appreciate UNFPA Nigeria. They are also being a great supporter to an initiative like this. So we want to appreciate all those who have been part of it. I also want to appreciate all the state government, or your state government. Thank you very much. And the Oyo State Minister of Women Affairs and Social Inclusion. Thank you for your support. And we also want to appreciate all those who have been part of it. Temilolaoluwa, thank you very much. We appreciate you. And we appreciate all the young people who are working with us, all our viewers, all our listeners once again, because without you, we cannot sustain a project like this. And we want to please try to also share the link. This link will be available. You can keep watching it and watching it to ensure that we have a better stay. So thank you very much. And so Temi, thank you very much for joining us. We believe that subsequent editions will have a better network, and we believe things will get better, and we'll be able to have more teenagers to engage. So we're hoping that one day it's all going to be all about young people, teenagers engaging live to talk about issues that affect them. So we're hoping to have that very soon, so that we can keep on, okay, to end gender-based violence and also end harmful traditional practices. So please do enjoy your day, and we believe that it's all about how we can make our world a better place. So before I round up, I'm going to show a video, just also from UNFPA. It's just about a storyline about sexual and gender-based violence and what women are facing in some other parts of the world. And again, we'll round up with our video. That's our advocacy song on ending rape in our society, which was produced by one of us, Beraka, that's Praise Ojumu. My name is Ireti Adesida. I'm the team leader and program director of Rhealyz Africa, Rhealyz Global Empowerment Initiative. It's been a wonderful time with you, and we believe so much in ending sexual and gender-based violence in our society. We believe so much in ensuring that we have a safe society for our women and our girls, and again, also for men. And we can see how men and women can work together to collaborate to ensure gender equality and generation equality, which is very, very key. And we also welcome volunteers. So make sure you can send a message via our social media platform. We're going to send a link also for those who are interested in volunteering. We need a lot of volunteers, social media advocates. We need trailblazers. We need content providers to ensure that we're part of this engagement. So once again, I want to say thank you very much, and please don't just stay tuned and enjoy this video. It's going to go a long way to really educate us and let's understand what issues of gender-based violence is all about. So just enjoy and watch.
This is the story of a girl and a boy. It's a global story, and a story that happens in our region. It's a story that occurs many times a day, every day of the year, and in every kind of household, in every city and country across Eastern Europe and Central Asia. This is the bigger story behind violence against women. This story doesn't have a happy ending, because this is the story of how gender inequality contributes to the murder of countless women every year. Sounds like a tall tale, right? Let's take things back to the start. Here's the story of a regular woman. As a girl, she gets told how pretty she is, never how clever she is. That if she wears a short dress, she's asking for it. That proper girls don't play football, and there's no girls' football team at school anyway. She grows up and gets used to being harassed by men on the street. That's just the way it is. Here's the story of a regular man. As a boy, he learns that women aren't equal to men from a very early age. Even though both his parents work, on the weekends, his mom does the housework while dad watches sports. When he cries about being bullied at school, his dad tells him to stop being such a girl and just punch him right back. Technically speaking, we'd say that these social norms, practices, and structures have shaped both the boy and the girl, creating a society where women are valued less and men are expected to be dominant and in control. In such a world, disrespect and hostility is excused, and violence against women is far more likely. But back to our story. The girl grows up into a woman, the boy grows up into a man, and they begin to date and get married. He jokes that he hopes she doesn't get fat now that we're married. She's not sure whether she should laugh. They have the same education and do similar work, yet he earns more money. He is quickly promoted, like other men in the company, while she gets overlooked. At home, she does all the household chores, and he takes control of their joint finances, seeing as he's the main breadwinner and all. When they're with friends, he puts her down in front of everyone. His friends stay quiet. In the morning, he wakes up and blames the alcohol and stress. He always has an excuse. When she gets pregnant, her boss says she can't come back part-time. After the baby is born, the lack of flexible job opportunities and childcare keeps her out of the workforce. She is socially isolated and financially dependent on him. He controls decision-making, and her. They are not equals. She is dependent on him for everything. So she never tells anyone when he started to hit her. She doesn't say anything to her family or friends. She grows more isolated. She has nothing else but him, so she lives with the violence until their story ends, one way or another. This story isn't a one-off. It's a story shared by 1 in 4 women in our region who have experienced physical or sexual violence from a current or former partner. It's a story of 1 in 15 women who experience sexual violence, including rape from a non-partner. And it's a story of how more than half of all women killed in our region are murdered by an intimate partner or family member, and many others live in constant fear. This story affects children too. Many women who experience physical, sexual, or psychological violence have children who also suffer from violence at home. For survivors and perpetrators, violence against women is the conclusion often reached after a life lived in a society where women and men aren't treated equally. But we, you and I, can change the narrative. Better policies and services, better quality education and engagement of men and boys, and better funding can prevent this all too common story. A new chapter is already being written by many men in our region for whom it is normal to value women and have caring, respectful, and equal relationships, to be involved in raising children, to treat women as equals in the workplace and public life. And it is being written by the many women in our region who are empowered to value themselves and realize their rights. When women and men have equal power, value, and opportunities in relationship and in society, violence against women is less likely. We can create a society of equality and respect where violence against women is unthinkable. Let's change the story, because ending violence against women starts with gender equality. It starts with all of us.